Bob Shuss, PG&E Pre.
Gentlemen, my name is Bob Shuss, electric crew foreman. We're going to hold a pre-construction meeting here for this project, which is called LBA Properties. I gave you an extra copy of this job print. I highlighted it for you, and basically what we've got is PG&E is going to intercept a pole between the steel construction pole. You're going to come across the street. You're installing a number 7 box, a number 5 box, on down to another number 5, picking up 2 transformers. Technically we're putting in 1,000 feet of conduit, 1 number 7 box, 2 number 5s, 206 by 90 transformer pads, and we have numerous crossings that we might have some clearance problems in here. So on the notes here, we're calling for 60-inch radiuses on all the bends except at location number 2, where she's still calling for 36-inch radius. We're going to follow these dimensions on the print as close as we can. She's showing approximately 17 feet between the 2 boxes, so you can make your 90 loop right on into there. The diagram for your entrance on your knockouts are listed right here, showing you how to do that. The orientation of that number 7 box over there is laid out like this, not this way, and just the way the print shows. Okay, so we'll go ahead and start the check-off list for the pre-con. Go through that. Your job PM number is 30766135. It's going to be 26460 and 26462 Corporate Avenue. This form is used for applicant install along with shared facilities. This job is what's known as shared construction. You're doing the trenching, substructure installation. PG&E is going to be installing the cable and making the connections. On the checkoff list here, bear with me, the applicant is instructed to provide minimum 48-hour notice for inspections. I have written in here, PG&E inspect desk number is 510-784-3317, and you give them that PM number, Corporate Avenue, and it'll set you up for that. Applicant is instructed that PG&E may not be available to provide overtime inspections, and economy and everything else, is highly unlikely that you will have any overtime. Before digging, developers should contact USA Underground Service Alert. That is street and franchise area. This is all private property. You're going to have to get everything excavated and showing up here for your USA. We have gas in here somewhere. Mm-hmm. You know where any of that is?
Yes.
Any chance? We do. That's away from the trench. It's not involved in our stuff at all. Okay. Excavations and job site to be maintained per Cal OSHA requirements. Applicant instructed to provide adequate staking, ensure proper location, depth, and facility placement throughout the entire project. Underground facilities in all boxes, pads, pedestals will be installed close to finished grade. Any future adjustment to be developed. Again, in the landscape area, we want to elevate the box lid just enough to prevent from the grass and the landscaping to cover it. We have access to it, be visible for them. Trenching agent to ensure that all proper clearances, separation, and cover requirements are maintained throughout the entire project on the PG&E standard S543. Wet and dry non-utilities to main separation requirements is defined by PG&E Utility Operations S543 joint trench. PG&E inspector to approve all backfill operations. All bedding and shading materials must meet PG&E standard S543. Using PG&E approved sand through Tidewater, Bond U, has to pass a number 4 screen. We can do a visual on it. It's going to, I think you're going to talk about Tidewater, non-shell or very little shell, breakable stuff like that, which is non-salt corrosion, right? And we're talking about using Schedule 40 instead of minimum DB 120 requirement. So that gives you a little bit of bedding in there. Again, the trench is going to have a 2-inch compacted sand bedding to it, so plan on that with your Schedule 40 there. Applicant instructed that all materials be verified by PG&E inspector per the general terms. All your material new and in first-class condition. Appropriate PG&E's discretion handout, standards, and drawings. I've given you a green book that I highlighted for you. We'll be going over that in a few minutes. And your responsibility for the installation of any required retaining walls and or mechanical protection protection around PG&E facilities. Retaining walls and mechanical protection, when required, must be installed per PG&E standards and must be in place before energization. We'll walk all these out and see where we're going to need barrier posts, and we should be okay on the retaining walls, but we don't assume anything till we look at it and the final project is over and landscaping and all. Electric panels and gas meter manifolds, we're not addressing, just the electric meter panels have individual units permanently marked. Full section electrical covers must be installed and sealable. And we discussed, the rep is going to discuss your requirements for your energization tie-in. Again, your duties will be all complete up to including mandreling before it's turned over to the rep for your job scheduling. I don't work off of promises. I have to work off of what I've got construction-wise and then turn it over to him. He will discuss with you the tie-in times. John is basically your the rope with the leg around rope around the leg there. He handles all of that stuff there. Okay, and your warranty obligations, of course, the new conduit and the new boxes. They're not really talking a warranty on cable pulling or any of that stuff in there. Any questions on the pre-con checkoff list per se? Nope. Okay, if I can, we'll get a signature on that and then go through the handouts. Go through the motion. Make believe. All right, that takes care of that. All right, take those out of there. That's your copies. And we'll give you your copy of the green book here. Again, highlighted. 3 different spots here showing you that everything needs to be USA for safety. Again, this is a guide to PG&E facilities. Go online, pgnewww.com, and give you the updated information. Let's go through these. I paper clipped them out, and we can go through these one by one. Okay, again, USA. Defining wet facilities, propane lines, sewer pipes, sanitary drains, storm drains, other wet piping. Again, you're going to wind up potholing some of this stuff to see where we're at in relation to that. Okay, you're familiar with the mandreling system, PG&E, steel mandrel conduit. Go through that.
You supplying the mandrel?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
You're
segmented.
You should have code number. I'll give you the code number on this, but with this type of job, you should have your own.
We have them.
Okay, and that's in the green book here. I have it highlighted for you under the use of the mandrels. And then we got on your panels. Both of these exceed the 200 kW. You are also required to install a 1-inch telephone conduit in the metering section. He's familiar with that there. Okay, and that is for a phone line for our metering department. It does not go in the PG&E pull compartment. It goes in the other section, or it can actually go on the outside as long as they can get into one of the holes to get it. And that's got to go back to a phone line hookup system. Okay, you're familiar with that? Gotcha. Okay. Barricades on the inside of the buildings. Are these panels going inside the building or outside the building?
Outside.
All your meter panels are outside too?
That's correct.
Okay, so there's a good chance we'll walk these out. You'll have to barricade those up, protect them from vehicular traffic and damage on that. Okay, we'll lay those out once you get those into position. Grounding. Applicants must locate the terminations for the grounding and electrode conductors outside of any section that PG&E seals. So if you have a U for ground or any of that stuff in there, it cannot be in the PG&E pull compartment. Okay, let's see what else I got here. Your switchboards, you've got your plans for the switchboards that you turned into the rep so he can approve those to the metering department?
Yes.
That's all been taken care of?
Yeah, they've already approved it. Steve
Okay.
approved it.
All right, good.